4 years ago, I had no money. 3 years ago, I still wasn't paying myself. 2 years ago is when I started to actually pay myself. This year has been the hardest year in my business career. And I've now realized I'm being taught a massive lesson to be grateful. Even in this moment of struggle, real struggle, actual struggle, this is probably the best thing that happened to the business. If things are hard, it just means there's opportunity. Everything is at a cost. Because when you look through the cracks, someone might be 100 million, but at what cost? Same way bootstrap, but at what cost? If you're at the gym, for good reason, working on yourself, there's still a cost to it. It's a good one, but it still hurts. So ultimately, what is your pain? Putting in 12, 14, 16 hours on certain tasks will not give you a single dime extra. But ultimately, I think it's about building leverage. Anyone who wants to change their life can. One video can change your life if you make it. But people aren't making it.
You're not defined by where you come from.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big message that I always want to tell people. Like
you have to be able to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like be comfortable with being uncomfortable. When you grow up in ends, you don't realize it when you're confident, but you have an audacity to do things that ordinarily most people wouldn't be willing to do.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We've got a special guest in the building. I'm your host, Atto. We have Ama, who's the founder of PlantMade, a beauty brand that's generated over 11 million revenue pounds in 4 years. How are you doing today, Ama?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited about this conversation. I think it's going to be great. I've been wanting to have this conversation with you for a long time. But, obviously I described you. Who would you say Ama is?
Oh my God. I just like to build things. I own a business, but that's not necessarily who I am. I guess I'm more than that. Someone who's passionate about wellness, someone who is just into all the things, travel, music, food.
Yeah.
Just a vibe.
Cool. What's your favorite food then? Food. Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, so one thing about me, I can't do favorite. Like,
really?
Stop. I can't do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's whatever's like in real time.
Oh.
So my favorite in real time. But
okay,
I can't
do like favorites.
Yeah, like I just think
interesting.
life is to be lived, and there's too much to only have one favorite. So my favorite for right now, is Hainanese chicken rice.
Okay.
So Hainanese chicken rice, that is a Singaporean dish.
Yeah.
So I went to Singapore earlier this year.
Lovely.
And I ate it for the first time on a food tour. And when it entered my mouth, I tell you now, that changed everything for me. We ate it again, and then since I left, I hadn't had it until my birthday in August. And we found a place here in London that served chicken rice. It tasted the exact same. It was so good. And I have been trying to go back. I was supposed to go on Sunday, but my dad actually ruined that plan. So yeah, hopefully I can report back that I've had it in the next 7 days. Hopefully.
I've actually had Hainanese chicken and it's amazing. I've also had it in Singapore. You know what's crazy about Hainanese chicken? It looks plain, right?
Oh, it looks crazy. It doesn't, not like it looks crazy, but it looks like, come on, like what is wrong with you? Like, it looks like
nothing, there's no
this
flavor,
is not
nothing, right?
But it's so good. So
Yeah.
simple. It's like rice and stew. It's just, everything and nothing at the same time.
That's that. Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk a bit about your story. Where are your parents from?
Ghana.
Yeah. Were you born UK, Ghana?
UK. I'm the only sibling to be born in
Really?
the UK, and I have 3 other siblings.
Oh, mad. Have you been to Ghana?
I have, yeah.
Yeah?
I have, yeah.
How often do you kind of...
So I grew up in Ghana for a bit. So my mom took me back because she was studying there. So I was there, I think, for 2 years. I think from 2 to 4, I think I was there. And then that was it until 2018. Then it was a family trip and did like rounds at I call it the Hello, I'm Still Alive tour. So basically we went to like where my dad's from, where my mum's from, and I was like meeting my cousins for the first time. And first time, it wasn't actually like some of them, I had met them when I was 2, but I'm like, of course I'm not going to remember you. And then my dad's side of the family, went to see them, and then got to experience it before, Ghana became what it is today. And I was like, tourism here is quite interesting. It's so funny. I actually like could feel that like tourism would be big, and then literally look what it is now.
This is
and then I
nice.
went last year for my brother's wedding, and that was amazing. That was my first adult trip. So like my parents were there, but I wasn't staying with them. It's me, my brother, my fiance, and the bridal party, and we just partied and ate.
Wow.
And, it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Ghana's nice. I love Ghana. It's really nice, and it's amazing that you got to experience both it before tourism and now, and also growing up. I think it's always interesting, like going to a country when you're a bit older to actually experience it properly, right? Like, yeah. Cool. So, okay, so you said that you were born in the UK. Where did you mostly like grow up?
Berkshire.
Berkshire.
I'm one of the shires. We call it the Queensland.
Okay.
So literally,
Cool.
I'm like 15 minutes away from Windsor.
Oh, mad.
So very, very royal area. I'm saying that not like there's loads of money there, but there's loads of money there. So you turn a corner, very normal people. Turn another corner,
Really?
fat house. So it was very like the wealth disparity is it's not like it's massive from like a working class to middle class to upper class. Like 10 minutes away from my house, I can drive down and see a 6-bed mansion.
Seriously?
Yeah, and that's not where I live. I live in terrace house.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, standalone gate.
Yeah.
Security, not numbered, a named house. When there's a named house, it's, there's money
Named
there.
house.
Yeah. Not 1, 2, 3. No, none of that.
Yeah. How did do you feel like seeing that shaped you in any way?
I definitely think so, because like, there's times where I come from church and we'd go like the scenic route. And that's where like we'd pass by the Windsor Castle and like Windsor Great Park, and you start to see some of the castles. Like, you see castles every day. Like, most people in London do not walk past Buckingham Palace every day.
No, that's
Like
true.
they don't.
No,
like
definitely
but
not.
Like every week I'm seeing Windsor Castle, and I'm seeing like some fat off houses. So I definitely think I was like, this is not the life I live. It'd be nice to have some space, especially because there was 4 of us, or 6 in total with my mum and dad. There was a time, even though like my siblings are very much older than me, so we're 5 years apart each.
Yeah.
My oldest sister is 15 and a half years older than me. So
Okay.
like we had a big age gap, but there was a time where we were all in that house. So 3-bedroom house, 6
Wow, that
people.
must have been a tight
and
squeeze, yeah.
and we had my godfather there as well. And at a time, I think my uncle was living with us as well. So it was just like, all I've known, like in my early stages of life, is like, we don't have enough space. We don't have enough space. We don't have enough space. Even as a teenager, I shared my room with my cousin. So like I always had like,
Yeah.
I've always thought like, I want a big house, I want a big room. I just want space. Like I associate space with wealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of is what it is.
Not in London.
Right?
It's not true.
Yeah, you're right. I know in London, you buying them box rooms for like $500,000. It's true though. I mean, if you're smart with it, you'll go on the outskirts, right? And then try and like buy space, right? But not try and get involved. Yeah, absolutely.
Go, you're out there.
That is so funny. Okay, wow. That's so interesting. And like, so it sounded like that shaped quite a bit, and then like the drive to, I guess, want more for yourself as well. That's so interesting. It's so interesting, like how, where you are. People say, okay, like, growing up in a really good area is a good thing, but sometimes actually being on the opposite, I think, also drives you. We don't talk enough about that aspect, although, if it's an unsafe area, I guess there's some dangers there, but we don't talk about the aspect of actually people want to get out of that. There's that drive too. Whereas I think sometimes if you grow up in the nicest area, I don't know how much drive are you gonna have to want this. You don't know the struggle. Do you get what I mean? So
yeah, even across the road from me, like those 4-bed houses that already like it's like, oh, this side of the street is 3 beds terrace. That side of the street, they have a driveway, 4-bed. It's a little bit more like, it was just weird stuff that I just noticed and just like clock.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Cool.
No one's
what
ever
were
asked me this.
Huh?
No one's ever asked me this.
Really?
No.
Oh, seriously?
No,
Okay.
no. So this is great. So let's keep,
Yeah.
let's keep it fresh.
Cool. Gotta get fresh. We gotta get the fresh content. So, what were you like in school then? Were you schooling in the area as well?
Yeah, I did. What was I like in school? So I felt like I put a lot of energy in. Like I was scared of my parents. You're like, what? But basically, they're very studious people. Like they love learning. Like they have degrees for days. So they were like trying to like put that on me a little bit. But the thing is, all my siblings are very different. Like 2 of us went to uni. My brother is an accountant, and that's what he did for 10 years before joining me at PlantMade. My sister, she's been doing hairdressing literally all I can remember, like 20 years basically.
Yeah.
And then my other sister, she also loves studying, so she got those genes from my parents. But I would study, but it's like I wasn't like a scholar. Like I wasn't a scholar. Like I was just getting B's and C's. Some like there was a lot of C's, like some B's, but it was just like there was some things I just naturally gravitated towards. So English, like things like that, like literary subjects were more my strong suit. Maths and science were a bit tough for me. But I don't know. I was cool. Even socially, I was a mingler.
Okay.
So I didn't like. No one hated me. I hated no one. I talked to everyone. I had my crew, but like I could like go in between.
Yeah.
What do I call it? I used to call it something.
You had a name for
I had
the
a name for
different
it.
not sets, but like different
it's
cliques.
just like and also I was actually moved around sets a lot, so I actually knew basically everyone. So yeah, year 7, year 8, I was moved, and then I came back in GCSE, so I kind of had already like mixed with everyone. So yeah, let's just call it a drifter. I just drifted around social groups.
Okay.
And yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting about school. Especially, I feel like school also shapes us. When was your first experience of like business? When did you was it PlantMade? Was it before that?
Uni
Was your first experience of business?
That was my first. So I didn't grow up around business. If I look back now, my mum was doing business the whole time I was growing up.
Okay.
She used to send containers of stuff back.
Yeah, that is
things
business,
like this. And I was like, I don't know what this woman is doing. She's pissing me off at this point because I'm always packing up boxes. I'm like, why am I doing labor when I'm trying to chill and watch some TV? Not realizing that she had a shop in Ghana. An electronics shop, and she used to send stuff and sell stuff and all that. I had no idea she was doing that. So I still believe that I didn't grow up around business because I wasn't exposed to it. Even though it was around me per se, I wasn't taught, oh, this is this and this is that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until uni that I started to mix with a lot of people, started to see that some people had side hustles, some people had clothing lines, some people were DJs, some people this, that, running events. I was just seeing oh, you lot are really cool, like buying into them and stuff. And I think I was also analysing what was I naturally gravitating towards. I had a friend who had a clothing line that I just absolutely loved. And I don't know why, I know why I liked it. I was like, oh, this is really smart, this is really cool. Like I was analysing myself. But it wasn't until my brother gave me Rich Dad Poor Dad. This was it my last year of uni? It was in my 3rd year of uni. I got the book. I read it. And then basically that set me off to entrepreneurship.
Really?
Because I had no idea doing business was an option. Like I thought, oh, if you're not rich kid, if you're not, generational wealth, recipient, you're not going to get that. Like, you can't just start a business.
9 to 5 was the route
I just generally you can't just start a business. Who do you think you are? When you can.
That's so funny. So what about Rich Dad Poor Dad made you think, okay, yeah, I can start a business?
It was the quadrant.
Okay.
I thought it was the wealth quadrant. So it was like investor, business. I don't remember. I haven't gone back to the book. But there was like 4 quadrants, which was like employee or something like that. Like where it's like, yeah, you work for your money and like you'll have a finite amount of money you can make because you have to work the hours that you put in, you get the money out. Then business was like, okay, cool. Like you have something, that generates you money. You maybe have employees, you have a product or a service or this and that. But your constraint is that it could also be kind of a job if you haven't taken yourself out, if you haven't hired. And to be fair, that's me still right now. Like I guess I have a job. I don't have a business. Even though it's generated that much money.
Yes, and we're going to talk a bit about that as well.
And then there was the investor part, which was like, let's just like you, like that's the pinnacle.
Yeah, you got the
like,
P's.
Yeah, you got the P's, you got the time, you got the money, you know. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know there was like these options. So that's what really set me off. And I said, okay, let me explore more into this. What is actually business? And then I remember discovering Gary Vee, started going down the wormholes, Grant Cardone, I just started to like eat up that info, YouTube videos. I used to just inject it. And I was just like, okay, I think I'm here now. Like, this is it. This is me for life now.
Yeah. What was that business that you started actually?
Marketing agency.
Marketing agency?
That had no clients.
Yeah, like I started. Well, it's going to start with no clients, right?
It had no clients. Basically, yeah. I just thought, okay, I knew any business I was going to start, I needed to learn how to market.
Yeah.
So let me learn marketing.
Okay.
And I was studying psychology at the time. And I knew there was some inclinations. Like I knew there was some parallels between marketing and psychology. So I just thought, okay, let me just leverage something that's a little bit low hanging fruit. So, okay, let me start a marketing agency then so that I can learn how to market and get paid, because there was the SMMA, like social media marketing. That was a whole massive thing among Gaji. What he is now is not what he was back then. He was like a 15-year-old selling people how to start a marketing agency. Yeah. That's basically what he was. So I was like feeding up all this information. But then I was like, oh, I haven't even asked anyone to work with me. So then uni campus now, in my last year, there were some people I saw. So yeah, there was a DJ. She had a clothing brand. So, oh, let me help you. I'll charge you £200 a month. Lord have mercy. But also I was like, I didn't know nothing. So yeah, literally that's what I was doing. I was helping her. Okay, cool. She was getting some traction. She was getting some money. We were using Twitter. Twitter was like the main driver at the time. It was really good. I helped my friend out just for free because we literally had a whole like committee and everyone like had different things. Like it was crazy, man. We were just trying things out. We've been, and I had a podcast actually as well called Rice at Home, and I was documenting all of this on, which was really, really interesting because I guess I was learning marketing through marketing the podcast and audience and this and that and building my personal brand on Twitter. So I was just learning a lot in 2017. That was crazy. 2017 to 2018. I was learning so much and executing so much as well.
Interesting. So then what happened? Why did you stop the marketing agency?
Well, I guess, I mean, the official marketing agency I stopped, but after uni, it bled in for a few more years. Okay. So it kind of transitioned. So I basically started to freelance, and I was learning copywriting at the time. Okay. It's so funny that people know what copywriting is now because, oh my God, I used to have to explain myself so much back then. But yeah, I was learning copywriting. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Like, oh, writing words and making money, that's crazy. Yeah. So I was doing some freelance there with some American health companies. There was a keto brand that I worked with. There was an app I worked with. Okay. They were actually looking for a copywriter and a psychologist, which was so weird because that was me. So I literally got paid like $2,000 a month for like 4 months on that contract. Wow. That was amazing. That was like a tech startup. It was so cool. I actually saw the guy recently this year. Oh, wow. And he was, oh my God, like you're doing really well. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Like who would have thought? He was like, yeah, that was really, really funny. He's not even working on that business anymore. I think he went bust. Oh my God. So shout out to you.
Shout out to him, to the mysterious man.
Shout out to you. But yeah, ultimately, I just couldn't crack this marketing agency. I just couldn't crack it. I just felt like it was not for me. Yeah. It just wasn't flowing. Like I'm like, surely it shouldn't be this hard. Yeah. So I quit and got a job.
Quit and got a job. Yeah. Okay. Actually, before we go into the job, because I know about the job, I want to ask you about your relationship with money because you mentioned something. What was it? That you felt like you couldn't start a business. What was your relationship with money like growing up?
Oh my God. So it was really interesting because my dad the way he spoke about money was so negative, in that you're basically supposed to hoard money, and that's it. Like, to spend money is a sin. So to be fair, I had a very toxic relationship simply because of that, the hoarding mentality, like, lack. So I didn't have a lot of money when it came to school dinners. I got £10 a week. I would save that money and just stack it so I wouldn't eat.
Oh God, yeah.
I literally would, and I wouldn't even eat in the morning. I don't even know. Like, so there's times where like my friends are giving me food. Okay, and I'll treat myself this Friday. I'll get lunch this Friday. Some weeks I'll be like, nah, bun it, I'm hungry. But most of the time, like, I don't remember eating at school. Like, I don't remember it. Like, I think I made myself like a quick sandwich or something. And the funniest thing is that my parents didn't even buy like, packed lunch stuff. So I couldn't even really be busting. Like, I couldn't even be making my own packed lunch like that. So yeah, but this was like, I guess when I was older, because I did have free school dinners up until a point, and then I didn't, and then that was where all of this nonsense started happening. So yeah, I think from there, I think the relationship with money started to get a bit toxic. Like, okay, cool, saving, sacrificial lamb vibes, which has actually bled into my business career.
You think so?
Yeah, no, it definitely has. And yeah, whenever I'd spend something, maybe get a delivery in the door, Dad's like, "Oh, what did you buy? You bought something? It's up to you."
Judgment on everything.
Yo, it's not that deep. Like, at least I'm not asking you for money. At least I'm being responsible. So that was difficult to navigate, because I was like, well, this is all I have. The town that we're in, and at the time, like, generally it was a wasteland. Like, it's only comfortable to live there right now. There's like jobs flowing and things like that. There's actually stuff going on. But at the time growing up, there was not a lot of infrastructure. Like, so there was no jobs. So I didn't have my first job until I was 18.
Oh, wow. That's not that bad, though.
I hear it. But damn, like...
Yeah, okay, fair.
I didn't even have the choice.
Okay, fair, okay, fair. You wanted to work before then?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was broke.
You didn't want to be saving more money.
And I'm also very aware that my parents did so much work. Like, they worked like animals, like, to provide for us. So I'm not now going to put more stress on you. That was my mindset.
Yeah.
So I was just like, no, okay, let me try and make money. Well, again, I didn't know how to do that, so I'd still save my coins, save my coins. And yeah, that bled into uni, but uni was difficult though, because I didn't have a lot of student loan. So once a student loan came in, paid rent, it was like basically nothing left. So literally from I think the first or second week of uni, I got a job, and from there, like, I'd miss lectures to work to feed myself.
That's
Otherwise,
crazy.
if I didn't work, then I'm not making any money.
Wow.
And if I'm not making money, then I don't have anything. No reserves, no nothing.
Wow. You've come from a tough place,
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah. Can you imagine like 18 and having that on your shoulders?
Yeah, that's a lot to have.
Yeah,
on
and
your shoulder.
and to be fair, I didn't really, like, basically my dad and my parents would like come to, like, they'll drop me at uni and then I'd buy stuff in bulk. So like non-perishables will stack up on that. That's their contribution. Maybe £100 here and there, but like nothing really other than that. And I didn't want to do too much again. You've done so much for me, 18 years. Like, I want to now try and sort myself out, but it was tough.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
tough.
look where you are now, though.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
man. But I definitely,
new challenges.
I definitely got the work ethic for sure. Like,
Yeah. Do you? Yeah, it feels like you. It sounds like you got
all
the
my
work
siblings
ethic from
have.
that.
All of us are workaholics.
Okay, but then you got to be workaholic where it's healthy, though.
Exactly,
right?
and I can't lie. That part is also
the tough
peeping
part.
his head. The health part.
The health part.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
cool.
get
You
into
know
it.
what? I don't want to. We'll talk about that soon. We'll talk about that. That's you know what. I'm glad that you shared that with us, because I think it just shows how it can shape you. And it can be something that we can still battle in the future as well, right? But okay, cool. So you had your job, right, as a recruitment, right? What happened? I heard that you...
Yeah, I got fired, yeah.
Yeah, what happened there?
So long story short, when I got there, first day, he was like, "Oh, giving you a hard market, but you'll be fine." I said, "Okay, fine." So with 360 recruitment, you're basically finding the jobs and you're landing the jobs. So you're finding them, you're looking for candidates, and then you're filling the jobs in. You get your money and commissions from that.
Yeah.
You get a really, really crappy base salary. I think it was 20,000 a year. 20,000 a year, which was
That's ridiculous.
Which is like, what is that? And then literally any bonuses after that, then you get it. But the problem was they put me on a hard market. So one of two problems you have in recruitment: either you don't have enough jobs or you don't have enough candidates. I didn't have either.
Okay.
So if there's no jobs and there's no candidates, then Lord have mercy, what am I supposed to do? So I was very vocal, very, very vocal. Please help me, guys. Please, please, please. Like, I'm still driven. Like, and I didn't really want to be there. Like, I felt like I gave up on my dream a little bit. But I also thought, this is maybe for the best. Let me work on some like foundational skills that I can push and put into something else when I'm ready to leave. So I thought sales was a good job. So that's why I went into recruitment sales. But it just was difficult. And it just got to the point where I literally started to have mental breakdowns. I literally had my first panic attack.
At work?
I didn't have it at work, thank God. But I had it to the point where I came in and I said, I've been written off by the doctor to take a week off. The funniest thing is that I had a meeting that week. It was an in-person meeting. And I decided to still show my commitment to the role despite what I was going through. So I went on the meeting whilst I was not supposed to be there. Just to show my commitment. Monday, come in now. I wasn't there for 20 minutes. They fired me.
What's wrong with this company? I mean, to be fair, I'm sure it would have been very tough for you at the time, but at the same time, it was a blessing, right?
Yeah, it was a bit crazy because my firing was the first time I heard about bad performance. Okay. So basically, it usually takes a year or a year and a bit for a newbie to warm up their desk to make. So that's all I was hearing. Like, okay, cool. Like, I know, like, you'll be fine. We're going to get through it. Like, I see your work ethic. You're hitting your numbers. You're hitting your 3 hours on the phone or 100 calls made a day. You're hitting those key metrics. So it's only a matter of time. But I felt like because of the special circumstances of the role that I was given, there wasn't enough care or courtesy taken to maybe new approaches, different approaches to get those opportunities, those job opportunities, find those candidates. That's what I'm thinking. So for me, that was the biggest pain for me. That the fact that this was the first time I was hearing about it. It just felt like a little stab in the back.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound like they were the best kind of company and they had a duty of care to take care of you, which is...
Yeah, and then I later found out that they thought I was too nice to even hire to begin with.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, glad you're out of that company, right?
Yeah, I was like, okay, you don't even know who I am, but that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, you're doing well now, so it works out. All right, so okay, talk to me about PlantMade. What's the story behind that? What kind of inspired you to be, okay, I'm now out of a job, I've done a marketing agency and now I want to, start a beauty brand?
I think it was inspired by what I was seeing online. It's COVID time, so obviously there was a lot going on. The rise of wellness was just crazy. And I just thought, well, let me just pour into myself at this time. I felt like this was like a moment, again, like, I think COVID was a curse and a blessing. Obviously, it was crazy, right? But it also gave a lot of people the space to kind of reinvent themselves. And I think for me, that's what I saw it as. Saw it as an opportunity. I had nothing. I barely had anything in the bank. I literally had a few £100s left. No money to make. No job prospect. Didn't have no client, no nothing. So I was just like, do you know what? Let me do what I can. What do I know? I used to write ebooks for Twitter. Okay, let me do some of that to maybe generate some £100 to come in just for now. then I decided, let me work on a brand. Now, the funniest thing is that brand wasn't actually PlantMade. It was something else, a men's skincare brand, because I was following the rules of, look at up and coming trends, da-da-da. If I would have started that, my God, I would have struggled because I didn't know enough. I didn't know enough. And there was nothing personal about it, which would have made it harder. That's the beautiful thing about PlantMade, that it was a personal story. So all I needed to do with no money, low cost, is just to market myself.
Yeah.
Just market my journey, just be transparent. And that was free marketing, basically. So ultimately, I made up this concoction. I was using it on my hair. I was documenting on my stories, and people were looking at it and they were like, I can actually see your hair coming back. Like, what the hell are you using? And I was like, buy these 25 ingredients, guys, and do it this way. And they were like, absolutely not. No one's doing that. But just sell the thing to me. And I was like, okay. So I literally went on my DMs and I said, guys, like, anyone else want this? Like, someone else? And I got 100 messages and I said, this is a sign. And I remember, because I was listening to so much content, just never forget the words, go where the money is. Go where the money is. And I was just like, this is where the money's coming from. And I haven't even done anything. I was able to make £1,000 in 10 days.
Wow. That's crazy. That must have
From
been,
£100.
your eyes must have been lighting up.
It was like,
what's going on
the
here?
funniest thing in parallel was that, okay, I'd done that. Then I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to turn this into a brand. I had just seen a girl. Her name is Marie. She has a business called Moonex Cosmetics. She was 18 at the time, and she had just made £1 million in 8 minutes. She actually made 2.2 million in 20 minutes. Wow. And I said, Lord, have mercy. I remember binging her content, just swallowing it up, injecting it into my veins. I was like, this is what I'm manifesting.
Yeah.
God, let's do this.
That's crazy. Huh. Did you have a vision for it at the time? Or you didn't think that far ahead? You were like, I just want to make as much as I want.
Utilizing all the skills I had built over the last few years. So the copy, okay, what we're going to call it? It needs to be something. Okay, the product, it needs to be something. It needs to be more than just hair oil. It needs to be something, something people can buy into, and a big idea, as they call it. And then I had to make up the rest. Like, I had to learn on the go the rest. I didn't know anything about ops, nothing about customer service, nothing about physical businesses. All the information that I'd been like taking in and feeding myself has just been like more service based, like digital nomad vibes. I was like, oh my God, like, are my digital nomad dreams gonna come true? I don't know. Like, guys, like, I need to get out of here. I want to travel the world. Like, still, I have traveled.
Yeah, I mean,
I have traveled.
You went to Singapore.
I have traveled. So, I wanted to really be a nomad.
Travel the whole year,
I still haven't done that.
Yeah.
So that's a massive goal I would love to do. Live out the country for more than 2 weeks. I've only been out the country for 2 weeks.
Wait, once?
Like, at a time. Like,
okay, at a time. Okay, fine.
So literally the max has been like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I was like,
that's the challenge of the business, right? Everybody be looking at you thinking, you're flossing here and there. You're flying out here and there.
No, I ain't flying nowhere. I'm flying nowhere. What the heck? I'm just kidding. But yeah, ultimately, like, it was just crazy. So from there, when I launched Planted at the time, I just was using Twitter.
To grow.
There was a lot of there was Black Pound Day, like there was a lot going on, so I was just like riding off of Black Pound Day. I was like building Instagram. Actually, I built it off of Twitter because I wanted to make sure it was clean slate, because I was like, if this is big, I'd be able to look back and be like, guys, I had no help. I had no help, barely any money. We just had grit, and we just made this work. So that's I didn't even use my 17,000 followers on Twitter. I just Instagram fresh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I actually do have a question. We talked about this as well, right? So obviously you started PlantMade with just £100 and no investment. So take us behind the curtain a little bit and give us an insight into what it really takes to build a multi-million-pound e-commerce business by bootstrapping with a small amount. Yeah. Okay.
So I remember hearing about bootstrapping. I thought, that's the way to go.
Okay.
This is the way to go. You earn 100% ownership. You don't want no one owning nothing. And my views have drastically changed over the last 4 years, especially this year. Not to say that I don't like bootstrapping. I don't want people to bootstrap. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. It's that life is nuanced and business is nuanced as well. Ultimately, what does your business need? What do you need? And how are you going to achieve it? So it's funny because I've actually interacted over the last few months with people who are multimillionaires, not just multimillionaires, but like their businesses are worth 100 million. I've been able to interact with people like that.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy because I never thought 4 years ago I'd even be in those rooms where like, I'm in those rooms now. Literally, they're all pointing to me say, do not raise money because this, I hate my investors, or that it's not what it it's not what I thought it'd be, and and these are people that don't look like me though.
Okay.
So I really want people to take everything that they see, read, hear with a pinch of salt and put some context behind certain things and be like, oh, okay. And not to say that these people were wrong in telling me this, but generally, bootstrapping is hard. You are foregoing opportunities because you have 100% equity in your business. You are foregoing the ability to maybe scale your business at times, maybe take this opportunity and fly to X place because you don't have the money to hire this amazing person at £100,000 salary. There are people in this country that work in businesses with that salary at startups. Why? Because they deserve it.
Yeah.
If they're amazing, if they are so willing, like if they have the background, they have, their Google X, you know what I'm saying? Like they've come from a place of expertise and knowledge. You gotta pay for that. Like I didn't even know in the beginning of my business that you're supposed to pay your staff are supposed to be better at you at everything. You pay people who are supposed to be better at you. And if they're not better at you, then why are they there?
Okay. Yeah.
And I didn't even deep that. Like, there's so much I didn't know. And I think my views have just changed. Like, I just see things so differently. Like, I don't even compare myself to anyone anymore. Yeah. And I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's a waste of time because when you
that,
look through the cracks, someone might be 100 million, but at what cost? Same way bootstrap, but at what cost? Everything is at a cost. If you know that everything in life, if you're at the gym, for good reason, working on yourself, there's still a cost to it. You're not sleeping, you have to now like eat healthier. That's a cost.
Yeah.
It's a good one, but it still hurts. So ultimately, what is your pain? What is your pain threshold? And what is your cost threshold as well? That's ultimately that I would say that's the reality. The reality is, damn, anything is going to be challenging. Growth is challenging. Not growing fast enough is challenging. Your business not blowing yet is challenging. They're all challenges. They're just different.
But a lot of people say, though, in 4 years, generating that much money, 11 million in 4 years is a brilliant, achievement, right?
Yeah, some people would.
But for you, what would you say? It's obviously, given you've bootstrapped and on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard would you say that's been for you, actually?
There was times where it wasn't hard at all.
Okay.
And there was times where it's really hard.
Wow, okay.
That I look back and I'm like, I was shocked at how ungrateful I was in the time I was at, thinking I'd failed when I was actually so successful.
What made you think you failed?
Because of the art of comparison.
Okay, right, okay.
The art of comparison and not thinking you're enough, that those spilled into me and those allowed me to think that, I don't know enough. And yeah, these are good numbers, I guess, but like someone's doing better than me though. And so because someone's doing better than me, then I'm not doing good. Are we really maximizing the opportunity that we have? Let's say we found something that was working. Were we really doubling down? No. But it's just like little things that I was just like, damn, I was so ungrateful because I thought I was struggling.
Interesting.
This year has been the hardest year in my business career, and I've now realized I'm being taught a massive lesson to be grateful. And to be fair, I'm actually we've been having discussions in the office about how even in this moment of struggle, real struggle, actual struggle, this is probably the best thing that happened to the business.
Okay.
Because us now, so we've had like lower revenue than usual, a lot lower. But basically, once that revenue goes up, we will be the best, like the healthiest business we've ever been.
Okay.
So there's still a chance to be grateful in this moment.
So grateful even when it's doing well, and grateful when it's not doing well, right?
There's always
I
something to
think-
be grateful for.
Yeah, I agree with that, because it's because things can change so fast without you knowing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so it's like, it's like your health.
Yeah.
You take a lot of things for granted, I think.
Yeah.
I just can't believe I did not see
Mm.
that I was taking things for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I was always so hard on myself, like, and I still am, to be fair.
Mm.
I literally had like, it's weird how we're having this conversation about like this, because I was having a similar conversation yesterday, and I literally sat and I said, sometimes I feel like, how did I let a good thing go? But man, I'm still running this business. It's not like it's gone.
Yeah, it's not gone anywhere.
But it's like, it's harder to get attention. It's harder to convert sales. It's harder than, it's harder. And it's like, but if things are hard, it just means there's opportunity, because if you worked hard on something, let's say marketing, right? Okay, if we worked really hard and it blew, it's going to be sick, because despite all that competition that's entered, do you know how many celebrity hair brands have come into the field this year alone?
Has there been a lot?
Fenty hair.
Oh yeah, okay, fair.
Sacred.
I don't know Sacred.
Beyonce.
Oh yes, okay. Cool.
Rita Ora has a hair brand.
Oh wow.
What's her name? Stacey Solomon has a hair brand.
Okay.
That's all I can remember right now.
And are these your competitors? You see them as competitors? Or?
Again, it's not about me seeing them as competitors.
see that
if the customer sees them as competitors, then they're competitors.
Right. Okay.
And not all of them are directly competitors, but if people are using these hair products, then they're not going, like, they might not use mine.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Well, they might use multiple, right? I think there's a
some
space,
people.
right?
No. Again, I'm not saying this like to reduce, like, if people use Sacred, they can never use PlantMade. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is people might, and I'll be okay with that.
Okay. Interesting.
But like with that alone,
Yeah.
when I was hearing the announcements, I was looking, I was like, oh my God, another one. I was like, and there's enough money for everyone.
There's enough money for everybody.
But you go there a little bit. You go there a little bit. Oh my God.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
But you know why you're doing what you're doing, and why you're doing what you're doing is unique to you, and people buy into that. I think
Exactly.
for sure, people definitely buy into. I don't know Rihanna or Beyonce's stories. You know, for me, I don't know. Sometimes with the celebrity things, I just feel like it's like a trend, and they just hop on it. Whether it's a podcast, whether it's perfume, whether it's makeup, they just hop onto the next thing. Oh, I can monetize my reach. But I think, like with anything in life, I think there's a lot of these things are long term, and I think at some point, if they're not truly passionate and they don't have a personal kind of attachment to it, I think once it's not really there, they might just move on to the next thing. That's what I see for a lot of these. Whereas for you, it's like it's a serial focus, and I think those people that are serial focused normally they go through. Because if a celebrity could just do anything, they would. I don't think it's.
And I think that's been a juggle for me
easy.
as well, because there's so many things that I've wanted to do, other brands I've wanted to start. I've had so many ideas. Like literally, like it's been like, oh my God, like it would be sick if we did it, but nah, we got to focus on PlantMade.
Gotta focus.
So many. Even now, like my personal brand career and me being known for like content and marketing is now becoming more and more of a thing. Like, oh, I love your content. Like people are like, I love your content. Like, I've done a few content masterclasses this year, and there's been times where I'm like, oh my God, like I'd love to like do a little side quest, and
You could do your market. You could bring your marketing agency back
like,
now.
You know, like I don't know about agency because I don't even got time for that, but I would like, love to do some masterclasses or some coaching on the side, like something like that. But I'm like, it's just take away from PlantMade. Like it can't take away from PlantMade, especially like in challenging times right now. Like I got to focus, but I'm just biting the bullet, and I don't know. I've just had too much feedback on like, no, you're special. The way you articulate how important content is for companies today.
Yeah.
You need to do the thing. And I'm like, okay,
But it's not going to go away though, right?
Yeah, it's not. And ultimately, the beautiful thing about it is that it doesn't take away from what I do on a day-to-day. If I'm constantly doing content for the business, it's not weird or taking away
It's
from...
adding to.
Yes, it's literally, it's actually new experiments. So yeah, that's been cool. That's been a cool little thing to explore this year that, you know, it's putting more money into my pocket, but it's marginally, but also... Wait, you said what's the reality of being a founder, right? At this scale, there's times where you go months and months without paying yourself.
Is it?
I mean, even the first year, I didn't pay myself a salary until I think 2022.
No way. Wait a minute. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, you're used to surviving though.
Yeah. But do you now see where that like sacrificial lamb
comes from
and not the main advice, which is pay yourself first and everything second.
Yeah.
Huh.
You don't do that now though, right?
There's been times where I've had to.
Is that just a necessity because of the business, or is that just because you feel like, actually, you know what, I'm just gonna sacrifice because actually I want more runway or whatever?
Those are the same thing.
Okay, fair. Mad.
Yeah.
The reality is crazy. So this is the thing, and I think when we is the stability of the salary. How do you deal with that?
It's absolutely mad.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy because I think and I think you'll find that like I actually have nothing to hide. Like generally, I'm gonna say whatever. Like there's unless it's legally binding. Like I'm gonna say it. I've never been ashamed of saying how like challenging at times business can be, and not to say that it doesn't mean that business is hard. It's a challenge, and challenges are made to help you overcome.
Yeah.
And to learn something. Right? But yes, like I put my life on hold for 2 years.
Because of the
4
business?
years. Yeah. So like I've just got engaged and I have a wedding to plan and a wedding to, you know, have.
Fund as well, yeah.
A wedding to fund and have in a turbulent time. And it's crazy because I'm like, imagine if... Sometimes I feel like, maybe we should have done last year because I was a lot better last year. Like, there was way more consistency last year. Things like that. I'm like, it is what it is. Operating in favor at the moment. But yeah, like I've been with my fiance for almost 9 years. We could have got married time ago. But 4 years ago, I had no money. And then 3 years ago, I still wasn't paying myself. 2 years ago is when I started to actually pay myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's tough. Ooh. Okay.
I'm only saying this because it's like, again, at what cost?
At what cost?
What is like,
that's been the cost for
like
you.
it's just like like it'd be great for you guys to know where it can go and if you're okay with that. Because in the same breath, there are people who've worked on their businesses for years and have not been able to take any money out because their business hasn't become something self-sustaining just yet. You know, or you're even doing other jobs on the side to pour into the business for the spark to appear. And then it blows.
Yeah.
You know, I think about like George Heaton, right? He runs Represent, which is like absolutely amazing right now. Their runway is crazy. But they're 12 years in.
Yeah.
And not to say that they struggled. I don't think they like struggled, but like their business wasn't successful until year 8.
Wow.
So can you wait 8 years?
A lot of people couldn't.
No.
A lot of people do not want to sacrifice because it's not guaranteed either.
Yeah, and I think the lesson I'm learning in this season was like, you had a massive uptick, Ama. You never knew what it felt like to fight for a sale. And again, not to say I'm fighting for sales, but you know what I mean? Like, this is the lesson to be like, okay, let's not take anything for granted.
Yeah.
Like, let's always
gotta be grateful.
put our best foot forward. Let's always do the right things, focus
Yeah.
on the right parts of the business.
Wow.
When you hear the advice, take it.
Yeah.
Don't just hear and be like, oh.
Wow. I'm still stuck on the fact that you said you didn't pay yourself. But you know what? It's the realities of the business. But I would also say that you're pouring into the business to give yourself more in the past. And I understand that. But I'm happy that you're sharing it, because I think a lot of people do glamorize like business a bit too much.
I don't actually think they do. I
You
just
don't
think
think
they're
they
only
glamorise
talking
it?
about one part.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
I don't actually
Which
think that-
glamorizes it in a way, right?
Does it? Or
Yeah, to people that don't know about it, because they think, oh, they'll go into it expecting, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire in 1 year.
but you can.
It's extremely tough. You can. That's, yeah.
I made
mean,
$1 million
you
in
can,
1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, not personally, but the business did.
Yeah, true. True. You could.
Me accepting that information helped me get there.
Fair.
Helped me take out the mental blockers.
Fair.
As
Okay.
my business journey progressed, that's when my mental blockers actually started.
Okay.
So every challenge that I was facing,
Yeah.
so cease and desist,
Mm.
legal battle, 3 months shutting down the business, having to rebrand, coming back to barely any sales.
Yeah.
So I've actually, we have been in a sticky point before.
Okay.
It looked different. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Then we've had like financial partners just completely almost try and screw the business. You've had that. What else? Like, gosh, there's a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
You know? There's like stupid stuff where it's like, oh, you didn't see a letter, so like a bailiff came to the office. But it's like, we didn't see the letter, but we paid it, but like we didn't see it.
Mm.
But it's like, having a bailiff come is like,
Yeah, it's a bit mad because they're
Like,
going to start
whoa, like-
seizing stuff.
and like
Yeah.
we have a physical business, so like we have staff, we have a warehouse, 6,000 square feet. They saw that and they were like, oh, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, no, we're good. Like we were good, but like it's just like because we didn't read a letter. Damn, that's hella
Well,
dramatic.
like, so dramatic. But they want their money. They're coming for it.
It's like 20 grand just on the and the amount of money
Yeah.
that certain things cost. Like even when we went into our warehouse and we got our warehouse, it took us 30 or 40K to just renovate it because the landlord decided to rip out all the lights and didn't want to do any work.
That's taking the piss.
It was ridiculous. Like what we saw it as
Yeah.
and what we came into, it was
would you
two
do
different
that?
things. It was crazy. It was absolutely mad. So there's been a lot of
There's
things.
been a lot of stuff that
and like
you've.
sometimes that can chip away at your
Yeah. So you think that knowing that you can make money in business excited you, but then when you got into business, all of these different things were like, oh,
There'll be a lot of random things that will
Yeah.
try and take you away from the path of
from the
abundance,
path.
of, you know.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of things.
yeah, but you're doing well. You've overcome a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's just like, I built a lot of resilience.
Yeah.
But not only that, like, even now,
Mm.
the season that I'm in now, like, I'm really trying to focus
Mm.
on just what needs to be
Done,
focused
yeah.
on. It's so easy to do so many different things. But if you know that one thing can change the business landscape, one thing can change your life, whether it's investing in ops or expanding a market or marketing,
Yeah.
you know, for doubling down, tripling down on content creation or this or what. If you know, then just do it until
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. What do you think is like the key activities that helped you build the business? What do you think are the key activities that you did that like helped it to scale?
Marketing was 100%. But the funniest thing is we are better marketers now than we ever have been. I don't
Okay.
even know why people like sometimes I'm like, but at the time it was like that was the landscape at the end of the day. Like a before and after picture side by side would be enough. And then it wasn't. And it was like, oh,
Oh, that's not good.
that's the
enough.
hardest thing about marketing, I think. Because like you never know the time limit of something.
Yeah.
Oh, this works until it doesn't. Now you have to
100%.
reinvent the same key principles. Okay, before and afters, that was amazing, right? Showing our customer transformations. But as the years have gone on, we've had to change how we show customer transformations. Yeah, marketing has been great. The products themselves, I mean, I wouldn't be anywhere without the assortment of products that we've created and how amazing they are and the customer results that it's produced. Like generally with no great products, I wouldn't have a business at the end of the day. And then just the vulnerability, because actually I do realize that every time We've been super transparent about the business. It didn't have to be a whole produced storytelling video. We always got weird opportunities on the back of it. Like, the first time I announced that we're shutting down because of the cease and desist, then it got BBC documentary. And it's like, who gets a BBC documentary? It was a...
Praying
It's like, what? Do you know what I mean?
Strange, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. You know, even documenting the business, like, obviously it helped us generate the revenue that we've done, 11 million. But then, like, even this year, like, we got the Sunday Times 100. We're one of the fastest growing private companies in the UK.
Yeah, which is a big achievement, by the
We
way.
were the only black
Congratulations,
people there.
They don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's very
you know
crazy,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, yeah, there's just been other opportunities as well that's just come through. And it's just like, just being vulnerable about what the business is going through. Not necessarily going through, but what we do, what it really takes to build a business. Also, just my journey. Like, even me, like, I've had podcast appearances. I've, like, been able to speak at X and Y because I decided to post on the internet. And it's like, people are I don't know. Did you see over the summer the demure?
I've been hearing this term.
Sure. So
Someone needs to break it down for me. I'm feeling old now.
This woman did it. I forgot her name, but she did it, and basically she has, like, been flying out to the, like, Balenciaga, like biggest makeup brands right now, like all because they made a video. And it's like, if content is that powerful, why aren't people investing in it?
They're underestimating it. That's why, right?
Absolutely.
They underestimate the power of it. Okay, so
and it's free.
It is free.
All it is the cost of embarrassment.
Yeah. Which is, well, it's not real, I don't think.
And
but.
the time it takes to put the pieces of content together. Exactly. If that, there's been times where I've literally, this year has been so interesting because I've just been testing so much stuff. Literally put the camera up and I just started talking 4 minutes about the 3 things I do differently about my business. And I got 70,000 views. And I said, I didn't even edit this. Like, I just chopped. So I talked for 4 minutes on TikTok and it got me 74,000 views.
That's people.
I didn't even have to edit it like that. I make videos like this every day.
It's crazy. So I wanted to talk about, you said that you felt ungrateful, right? So, because obviously looking at the outside, people again would, oh my God, Ama's made, her business has made this much. Did you celebrate?
No.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
Oh my God.
You know what?
My sister-in-law,
yeah,
she sees this, she's going to be like, Ama, I did not celebrate. Okay. I barely celebrated.
Okay.
There was times where I celebrated for the team. So like, our 1 year, our 2 year, our 3 years. We didn't even celebrate our 4 year back in June. Because we were like, nah, we got to fix. Even the Sunday Times 100, we didn't even celebrate that. But like, that's generally one of the biggest things that
you didn't celebrate.
Anyone can do.
Why didn't you celebrate?
So I was in a funk. I was in a serious funk. Because that was when I was heavily networking. I was exhausted. I didn't even know that I was high. I think I was doing up high functioning anxiety at the time. And I actually do function very well with anxiety. But obviously it's not good.
Yeah.
So like I was trying to so we were raising money for the business, right? We haven't closed. Just letting you know.
Okay.
We're raising money for the business. I realized, bootstrapping is too hard and beauty moves too fast. I need to make money. I need to get money into the business. Cool. Again, not to say there's anything wrong with the business. It's just the people we're dealing with. I don't think they've spoken to a lot of people like me. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, up and down 4 or 5 days a week at times. London. Doing so many different things, trying to juggle the business, trying to juggle operational failure because we had a shipping problem, my personal brand, I guess, like trying to be consistent with posting content for the business and myself and this and that. And I was just like, I felt like I was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And I was like, how I want to celebrate. I don't want to do anything. So I remember it getting to my birthday and I was like, my people were like, oh, and I think my sister-in-law, my brother, my family, they were like, yeah, you can, we'll pay for you to go somewhere. Because I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's a lot. And I was like, I don't even want to go anywhere because it's only going to be worse. It's only going to be worse. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to do nothing. Do you know what's funny? Even my birthday time off, I still was in the warehouse. The first day I was in the office. I think I had one day off, and that was the bank holiday.
Oh man!
So it was everyone's day off anyway.
That's crazy.
Even the next day off, it wasn't even the day off.
Why you
I
not
worked.
take it off?
You know what it is? That time, there was no taking anything off, and I don't think people realize that. Like my production manager was in Ghana for like 3.5 weeks. Like we have to take that on. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then everything else, like it just wasn't. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone could really that's what I was saying. It sounded like an excuse, but I was like, no, this logically makes no sense. Like it's not gonna happen.
If customer needs their orders, they gotta.
Yeah, like even like I might take like one day off in November. Like bear in mind that's Black Friday.
Yeah.
But it's like it's gonna be a lot more peaceful than that.
Yeah, you know what? I think I've learned I don't celebrate much. I need to get better. I'm a serial bad person at celebrating. Yeah. But yeah, I think celebrating small wins, I think is good. I think it's useful too. And the reason why I asked you that is just because when you said that you wasn't grateful, and I think that can kind of happen when you're just kind of focused and you just kind of keep on going and going. But I think it's important to celebrate.
Yeah. How do you celebrate?
How would I celebrate?
Yeah, I'll circle back to this celebrating because the one time I think we were about to celebrate, my car got stolen. But go ahead.
I would go out,
like have a meal, right? Okay, cool.
Have a drink, maybe have a drink with my partner. Oh, cheers! You know, champagne. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, something, or maybe treat myself to something. I don't know. You know, maybe go and watch a game or something like that. So yeah, I think
so funny. I had to ask you how to celebrate. That's crazy. I don't even know how to.
I mean, wow, your work ethic is on another level. You don't know how to celebrate.
This is not good though. I'm just letting you know.
It's not. You know what? I'm not great at it. I can't lie. I'm terrible at it. But you're not that bad because I think you're. I obviously I've seen on your page, you talked about getting into the Sunday Times. You talked about I think Sunday Times twice. Yeah. You was in it twice. That's celebrating. I think that's good. I think continue doing that. But then also for yourself as well. Pat on the back, you did a good job. You got to where you got to. I can't believe you don't do that.
Yeah.
People will think that you do that.
No, I don't.
That's bad.
No,
you got to.
Yeah, I do.
You got to.
I think, do you know what it is? I love Christmas.
Yeah.
And I feel like
okay,
I
then
try
celebrate
and
Christmas.
I try and loop a lot of things in Christmas. Or like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like, okay, everything is just Christmas, but it's not true. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, I barely even celebrate my birthday at this point. But
you got to celebrate.
I just really like.
Yeah.
I was very grateful on my birthday this year, though.
Yeah.
Like, despite everything, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pushing 30. Like, and not to say I'm scared of it. I'm not. I just want Forbes 30 under 30, please. I'm just manifesting that. I have 2 more years. But yeah, I think it's just I think for me, I'm just like, do you know what? Like, it's actually really important. Gratitude comes in many ways. It's not just like, oh, what are you grateful for today? Like, generally, like, soaking up, like, okay, if you can do this, like, you can do it. Like, despite all the challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, generally, like, the biggest night of my life, biggest night of my career, Sunday Times 100, absolutely incredible. So was so shocked and excited. It's people, £100 million businesses or like £10 million businesses coming up to me. Oh, I love your stuff. Like I was, oh my God, like I was so shocked. I was like the president and former CEO of B&M was in front of me. Bear in mind their valuation is $2 billion.
Oh my gosh.
They started the business with £15,000. They bought 4 stores and they just...
That's crazy.
And it's just like, and he was speaking and it was just like, whoa, like, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe, I never thought I'd be in this room. And do you know what's funny? I don't even need to speak to that person. I didn't even need to speak to that person. I think here's the thing about me with networking and stuff, right? I actually can just be in a room and it's enough for me.
Yeah.
Generally, people, but the connections, and I'm like, nah. I think if I'm supposed to speak to this person, I will. But the room alone was just incredible. Walked to my car after the event. We were going to debrief. I think we were going to go Shake Shack. Can't find my car. Stolen. This is recent. This is real. This is 3 weeks today that it happened. I still don't have my car yet.
Sorry about that. Somebody tried to ruin the celebration, but we're gonna get some more.
They did.
We're gonna get some more.
It worked. It worked for the moment.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, like we actually got robbed. Like we didn't even like actually get to, and it was less robbed of the car and more robbed of the moment.
The moment, yeah.
Because now it's like that day can't just be that day.
Yeah, it's the day that
you
I
know
lost
what I mean?
my car.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, the devil, I hear it. Like you actually tried. You tried me.
Yeah.
That day.
Yeah. Well,
Bear in mind, that was like one of my first celebrations to myself. I had my license since 2017, and I haven't had a car until this one. I just got it in December.
More blessings will come your way for sure.
No, facts.
Sure.
And I'm
That's
very
what I believe
aware.
in.
Yeah,
that's what I believe in for sure.
For sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's absolutely mad. You know what? Yeah, I was gonna ask you actually in terms of like on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense has it been? But I think you've described it. I think I'm gonna say 10. I don't even need to ask you that. I think. Look, it sounds intense, and I think with business, I think it's like you say. I think sometimes you have to chip in where it's possible because otherwise customers are not going to be able to deal with their orders. Talking about that, how do you manage that? You've sold over 160,000, is a lot. How have you dealt with that?
Yeah.
Customers expectation, which has increased as you've grown bigger, things like that.
So, again, people pleaser here, recovering. It's interesting because I think this was the first year that we'd really seen issues operationally. We've never really had issues operationally. We transitioned our shipping in-house. The shipping platform that we used is bloody shit. Like, it's so bad. And basically, we didn't have all of our orders visible. So basically, like, we were packing orders and we're thinking, yeah, we're clearing the orders. And like, people are like, where's my order? It's been like 3 weeks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Turns out the platform was just like archiving stuff just on random. So like, orders just were just not even like in our eye line, like, because the software is so bad. So the problem with that is customers are mad. So literally, it was just everywhere. And this is real time stuff. Like, this is real time. This is not even post. This is real time. Like, our Trustpilot score went down really, really, really bad, and stuff. And to be fair, you might think like, oh, it's really sad. My only focus was just to fix it. My goal has always been customer experience. And yeah, we might not have the best packaging. Again, this is a bootstrap thing. All the things that I'd actually want for the business, you can't see it. It doesn't exist yet. It comes with an extra level of scale or funding.
Yeah.
But like, generally, how the business is right now, this is not what I'd want it to be.
Yeah.
And again, it's a patience game at the end of the day. But like, I'd want the packaging to be A1, the shipping boxes to be branded and beautiful, things like that. I want everything to be good. Unboxing experience great. Customers get their orders really quick. I don't have anything to say about the product. No one, most of our issues, no one's saying nothing about the product don't work. That's a 0.1%. We started there. The customer experience started there at the formulations. Generally, I'm still shocked at how I was able to formulate products that good that like I barely get any comments about it doesn't work. More time, it's just you didn't use it enough. You didn't use it consistently. And yeah, pound back to me and my team. But yeah, we just make good stuff. Like, we just do. So I never have to worry about that front. But it's everything else, everything else that comes with it. Customer service had some people that kind of like just didn't see how important their roles were. And sometimes that's the thing about the company and a startup at that. most people have never been used to being so let me find the words because I really want to communicate this well. They have never had to have such responsibility in a business where their actions actually meant something. And in a small startup, in a small business, that is really, really apparent.
Yeah.
Like, you can make or break a business, every single one of us, you know. So if you do good work, then you really, really see the benefits of that good work. You get praised and you get rewarded for that good work. If you do not do good work, then it's also like basically you've given someone twice the work in another department because they're trying to make up for the lack.
I know what you mean.
You know?
It's amplified way
Exactly.
more.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
smaller,
huge.
yeah.
And the thing is, I think the transparent thing is it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But like, I think people maybe, and again, maybe this is some of the content that's missing online. Again, I don't think business is glamorized. I just think there's stuff missing. There's conversations missing. There's people who are best to communicate those messages that haven't yet. And I might be one of them. I can't lie.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking your truth.
You know what I
right?
mean?
That's,
So
I think
like
that's
I hear it,
important.
but like generally it's not for everyone. And that's not to say
Yeah.
that you're a bad person. You're not a bad person. It's just this is not the environment for you. Because if you don't have the work ethic and if you don't have and by work ethic I don't mean working. I mean generally like being responsible, that's responsible for business's success. It's okay, just go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Just go elsewhere. You know, if you're someone who basically isn't entrepreneurial yourself, might not be the best place for you. Because I'm not the only entrepreneur in my company.
Yeah.
I can't be.
Pretty much everybody has
Everyone
to be.
is.
Yeah.
Everyone actually is. That's the thing here. So it's just these little things, these little discrepancies that, okay, now if I go into a new wave of the business, I hire, These are all things that I'm going to now look out for, you know? But at the time, I didn't know. So, yeah, ultimately, like, customers expect you to get better over time. And you should get better over time. You shouldn't get worse. But there also needs to be a realization from customers that sometimes they don't even give the expectations that they do to the small businesses to the big corps.
100%.
So that I think is where every single business owner, I think they might shed tears internally because of that. Like generally it's like, how do you give me so much flack? That doesn't mean I'm not responsible. That doesn't mean I'm taking responsibility for what I'm doing, right? But generally, like, how can you cuss me out so much more than a big conglomerate that really has all the money, all the ops, all the everything? All I can be is transparent. Like, generally, I didn't want to make... Okay, this was literally the best software out there. And it still sucked. So generally, what we're supposed to do, like, you know what I mean? Like,
It still sucked.
Like my ops, yeah. He literally went through, and I'm saying ops, like my fiance is my ops, but yeah, he literally went through like every software. He tried so many. He was like, "This is the best one I can find," and it was still bad. So it's like, guys, like we didn't want this to happen, but like I have never seen a downpour like that. Like I'm sure Shein still gets like 4.8, 4.9 star reviews. But the Shein. ASOS, there's been times where I've had issues with ASOS. There's been times where I've had multiple issues with Amazon. I ain't seen no downpours, cuss you out.
Were you getting people cussing you out?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know people. I saw the reviews, but I didn't see people. I didn't look at everything, but people personally cussing you out.
Yeah.
What?
Absolutely.
That's not right. You know what it is? And let me ask you this, right? Do you think it's because it's like a double-edged sword? The
absolutely.
personal,
Absolutely.
because you've built the personal aspect with it. People feel like so familiar that they feel like, oh, you know what? I'ma diss you.
Absolutely.
Like when one thing goes wrong, they feel like they know you,
Yeah.
so they're like, okay, I'm gonna.
Someone in the DMs literally said, "You've what did it say? Said you fucking bitch."
What?
I said, "There's no
my
reason
God.
for you. There's no reason for you to be using that language."
For what? For what? What's so deep? What actually happened? What? Because they didn't get their package on time.
Yeah. And again,
are we being like this?
This is
now?
not me saying that like we wanted to, like we don't. We're trying to fix the issue, but like communicating like that with me is for what? Like, is it really that necessary to communicate with me like that? It's not. Like, who are you? What kind of human are you? Like, I would never communicate like that with anybody.
You can't be like that, and they're not going to do that to Amazon.
No,
if Amazon is their thingy.
Nope.
They'll be like, oh, sure.
Nope.
They'll wait.
I've even seen like brands really do. Like, I remember seeing a video of a woman. She didn't get her package. Her package was empty from Selfridges, and she did multiple videos because at first she was like, "Oh, like Selfridges, I think you might have like a theft situation. You might need to like." So she was actually like, "Okay," and then like basically Selfridges was like not being great about it. And then she really was like, "Oh, okay. If you're not going to be great about it, then I'm going to cuss you out because where's my order? Like, I spent hundreds of pounds with you." And it was a whole thing. Even that woman had more grace than some of the customer interactions that we've had.
Wow. Can we be kinder to our founders, people?
Like,
come on, man.
Genuinely, again, not to say I'm not, like, if you want a roof, I'll give you the roof. Like, if you don't, like, it's happening. Like, I'm sorting it out, but do not swear at me.
Yeah,
like,
that's not right.
Do not slide into my personal DMs because you know where to go. You're trying to get me. You know where to go. I had to like actually create a personal boundary saying I'm not replying to anyone who personally DMs me about the business. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
My personal Instagram is not my, like, people look at me and see PlantMade. I am not PlantMade. I am Ama, who works at PlantMade. That's it.
Yeah.
But they see some people are literally PlantMade.
Yeah,
I'm not
together. Yeah,
I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I'm a human being. Do you know what's funny? When we got robbed at our warehouse last year, I made a video about it because we were on holiday. We were on holiday whilst we got robbed, and the team let me know what happened. And I was like really upset and and even they convinced me, do you know what? Why not? Again, this is the realities of the situation. Like, it's crazy. Like, this was just before our big pop-up. It was so turbulent for us, but like we did it, and it was amazing just to share like the behind the scenes of what it really is like, and it gave me a little bit of relief. I actually felt a little bit better releasing that video because again, just seeing the outpour of like people saying we've got you, don't worry, it was really great. Then there was something that happened. I think again some shipping delays a little bit. Right, this customer now comes and says, "Oh, you use our money to go on holiday to Italy." And I said, the only reason why I went to Italy is because of the video that I was speaking about getting robbed. So you use that personal, intimate video about us sharing the struggles of the business to try and tell me I'm trying to take your money to go on holiday. I genuinely was shocked at humanity that day. I said, oh, really? Everyone, like the very few founders who are even being consistent with sharing their stories, I don't see that in their comments. So why is it in mine? And we all know what it is. We don't have to talk about it, but I'm just like, thank you so much for using that video of one of the worst times of the business, being robbed, to prove a point. That isn't even true. And guess what? That was written on Trustpilot.
That's crazy. This is the thing that I find sometimes, right? And I would say that I still think that's a minority of people, and I'll say majority of people definitely support your business because I see it. I see it. But I do think that there are some people that just do want to prey on a downfall and just kind of waiting ready. And sometimes they can be the loudest, but they're not the majority. Oh, of course. What it is. But actually, I wanted to say to you, you're so resilient. You're super resilient. You've gone through so much, What kind of keeps you going? What's the drive for you to overcome all of this stuff?
And the opportunity for success.
Yeah.
I think even being here and seeing, it's just been a faith game at the end of the day. And it's been wavering for sure. But I genuinely think God has truly gotten me out of, these situations. And always had something better on the other side. And yeah, I literally can't wait to see what this version of that looks like. And the opportunity for success is generally like the opportunity to change your life. I truly believe anyone who wants to change their life can, because life is not linear. You're not dictated a life at birth, you know, like, you know, society might have tried to pave. I just don't think that's the case. And I think that's what was unveiling when I was reading books, when I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, when I was reading Grant Cardone's 10X, when I was reading you know, all these books. I was like, no, the opportunity is here. And to say, okay, I'm Black, I'm a woman, I'm from a minority background, I don't have that much, you know, even things like I can't raise, you know, proper finances I can't raise proper business loans or finances at times because I don't own a house. I don't have an asset. Things like that are like, okay, because of where you came from, you can't even leverage certain business assets or certain business things to try and scale your business. Okay, cool. Is what it is. Still, I know that we could do a madness. And yeah, I think that's what the Sunday Times taught me. Because again, it's not like I've even made the most revenue out of some of these brands, or even some of the brands that exist that aren't on the list. You know, I celebrate all those brands every day, and I'm constantly trying to draw inspiration from them. But I think for me, I think that was to be like, you know what, yeah, this plaque is saying a lot of things. Like 4 years ago, you had £100 to your name, and now you're running one of the fastest private-owned companies in the UK. Generally, you're good. Like you're gonna do a madness. Like that's what my story has always told me. But I think that's what also the adversity has taught me as well. That when you speak about your story, people are gonna know that, oh, you weren't handed this. Like you had to go through shit.
Yeah, you have to go through shit, and it's crazy. So I wanted to talk about some of the lessons you've learned, right, in business, right? And I remember when we were talking, you said that hard work doesn't guarantee success.
Nope,
right?
It doesn't. No.
Okay, talk to me about why you think that is.
Okay, putting in 12, 14, 16 hours on certain tasks will not give you a single dime extra. And I can't tell you what that task is because generally I think it's different for everyone. But ultimately, I think it's about building leverage. And I think even why I decided to lean into content creation and personal branding is because with all the celebrity brands coming up, with all the competition, what is the biggest leverage I have? And I felt like my biggest leverage was my story. No one has my story. So it's not something that could be copied. It's not something that can be imitated. This is literally my lived experience. No one can take away from me that I had hair loss. Like
exactly.
I had, and I documented it as well. So like no one can take that away from me. So because my customers know that I have been through where they were, they can trust that now my hair looks the way it does in my products. They can now have a little bit of confidence to try them and see for themselves, right? But ultimately, that is the biggest leverage that I have. And then what other opportunities do I have that are, leverage? Okay, one video can change your life if you make it. But people aren't making it. People aren't making videos.
Yeah.
They're not making them. So
no, nothing.
So some people are pouring into their operations and making sure that their packaging looks amazing and like, oh, they were spending so many hours like putting these things together. No one is going to buy your products because no one cares about you yet.
100%.
So like you're doing it, like why I say hard work is most of the time people are focusing on the wrong things. Most of the time people are focusing on the things like, so many people have better packaging than us. And do you not think I want better packaging? Like if you genuinely think the packaging that we have right now is what I want, this was made 2021, again, with scraps. I want it so different. And I've been pushing for a rebrand for ages. It just hasn't been the right time yet. It's not the right thing to invest in right now.
Yeah.
But I decided to work on the other things that mattered.
Yeah.
And some people will come out with like, hundreds, sometimes £100,000 worth of design fees, packaging fees, product fees and they have no market, they have no community, they have no this, no that. Yo, you gotta make sure you have demand for your product. That's my main thing. And then over time, you just try and stack how much leverage you have in as many areas of business as possible. Oh, you've hired the best X person. Great. Now you don't have to do it. You've hired someone. They come to you with stuff now. That's amazing. That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I said hard work doesn't guarantee success, because it's not about hard work and it's not smart work. You know how people like have those phrases. It's not that. It's just do what you need to do in it. Like, you know what you need to do. If you've cracked, okay, these are the things. If I double down on 2 things, 3 things, it will transform my business. Do those things only and do not look left or right. Look straight, do them until it bangs. That's a discipline that not a lot of people got.
I completely agree. It's because there's always a shiny new object. You might get bored. You're like, oh, let me start like moving on to the next thing. It's crazy. I wanted to really talk about this because I think this is important. I feel like entrepreneurship can be lonely sometimes, and we were speaking, right, about communicating with your friends and family about it, right? And when they ask how's business and stuff like that, it could be, depending on what time of day, it could be a good day or it could be a bad day, right? But how can entrepreneurs communicate with their friends and family and vice versa? How can we bridge that gap?
So that's a very good question. I think I'm going to attack it in 2 parts. Number 1, I'm going to attack the question with the recipients of the conversation. So the friends and the family. Generally, listen to what people are saying, because if they're saying they go through a hard time, then they actually are. It's not oh, you'll be all right. That comment is so triggering for so many people. I'm sure if you were like, oh, I had a terrible day, and someone said, oh, sure, you'll be all right, I'm sure you'd be like, thanks. Sounds like you didn't want to listen to what I had to say. Sounds like you just want to fob it off, or you don't have the words to say, so you say that, but those words are worse than saying nothing at all.
Yeah.
Why don't you say, okay, I might not never understand what you're going through, but I'm here for you if you need anything. That'd be a lot nicer and a lot easier to hear, because I'm sure you'll be all right when someone's going through some of their hardest times. Is not easy to hear. Yeah. In terms of the entrepreneur, I think it's about picking who is right for the conversation. Because I don't think every conversation is right for every person. Because generally, if you get to the technicalities of business, right, sometimes it's like, have you ever spoken to someone about physics and then they start like going through, like they go down. It's like, what on earth are you talking about? Like, you can get there. You can get there with business. Yeah. You really can. So like, okay, let's just keep it light. What's the light version of this conversation with this person? Because they're not going to get it. But yeah, I think it's about being vulnerable. There's a level of loneliness that I think every entrepreneur is going to have, especially every founder, because they know they are the most responsible for this situation. The business is on their head at the end of the day, and no one else is going to feel that. Yeah. So there's times where I'm arguing with my fiance and my brother, and they're like, Ama, you shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, there's a level of responsibility that stops where you are and that continues until it arrives to where I am. That you guys just won't understand. You just won't understand, Like me talking to some founders and talking about like, oh, I had to sacrifice and pay. Like, yeah, I had to do that. Yep. Times I woke up in the night and I don't know how I'm going to pay X, don't have to pay Y. Like, again, not to say that execs can't feel that way, but that level of like, if you're a founder or if you started this thing, you started it. So you feel like this is all my fault.
Yeah.
Like, I put you in this position, like, I need to get you out of it. Well, I did X, even if you're going really fast and, trying to keep it going, like, keep the growth rate. Okay, I got us into this, now I have to figure this out, So I think it's just about being transparent. But then, again, just picking your battles. Yeah. Like, you don't need to be doing... Because sometimes now you go into nitty-gritties and you're having a conversation that might piss you off again.
Just keep it high level.
Yeah.
I completely agree. There's something else interesting that you said, right, about true. You said, I think I'm paraphrasing here, but you said, where is it? I had it here. Oh no, I've lost it. True wealth comes from selling your brand. And I think it sounds like it's around the conversation of optimizing yourself for, your brand being sold. Can you talk a bit more about that?
So this was another thing that I was naive about when starting the business. So I remember like listening to and reading a lot of facts, like, the first Black businesses in the US. I was thinking about the wealth gap between ethnicities, how Jews make their money circulates within their community, I think 50 days or something like that. Like Caucasians, 30 days, Indians, 25 days or something. It was just something like that. And then I think it was 2 days or something like that for Black people. And I was like, oh my God, what? And then I was just thinking about Jewish people, there's a lot of ownership there. They own a lot of stuff, and it's absolutely amazing because I really, really admire the community and how they operate in business and how they give to one another and how they circulate wealth within the community. And I was just thinking, well, what does that look like for us? Is it a case of ownership then? If I start a business, do I keep it forever? Is it a generational thing? I don't know. That's just what I thought. Okay, cool. Maybe it's just a one and done. But as time progressed and I had conversations with people, my peers and stuff. Number one, why does my first business have to be my only business? Number two, selling a business isn't a bad thing. So the PR around selling a business was really bad because I saw recently, Monique Rodriguez from Mayol Organic, she sold her business. I think there's a lot of people in the beauty space. Even Shea Moisture, they sold years ago. And I remember just seeing so much backlash, why are you selling? Are you? And ultimately, I hear what they're saying, right? From a customer perspective, there is a chance if you sell to a big conglomerate that they might change the formulas. I can't confirm or deny whether that's happening. I'm not in them companies. I don't know. I know as a consumer of Shea Moisture that I felt a difference. I felt like it was different, but that might, I don't know what that was. Yeah. I just could tell that the product didn't feel the same anymore. Yeah. This is literally what led me to start my own business. But I think it was reading more, understanding more that, generational wealth is cool and passing businesses down is cool. The Rockefellers, they, pass down wealth to one another. I think Gucci is not a good example because they did not keep that business in the family. So you got your conglomerates like LVMH, that's a whole family running that. I'm thinking about that, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's 80 something, almost 90, and he's still he just let go of CEO role. I'm like, so is it now? And I'm like, no, it's not now. It's not now. Crumble Cookie. You know Crumble Cookie?
I haven't heard of them before.
You haven't heard of them? Oh, it's very, very viral in the US. It's a cookie chain, franchise cookie chain that make these crazy cookies. They make
wow.
They make a chocolate chip and then they make some crazy stuff. They make cheesecake cookies and it's crazy, right? And it goes viral on TikTok. But I remember listening to I remember listening to how that business was started. YouTube, it's really interesting. The guy was like, yeah, I bootstrapped this business. Yeah, how much you put in? Oh, 500K.
That's the bootstrap. 500K, all right, cool.
I can't believe that's the same meaning for my business and his. Where do you get that money from?
Maybe family, innit? Friends, maybe. That's crazy. That's a bootstrap.
You can't say bootstrap and say family and
true.
friends. That's a family and friends round. So where'd you get that money from?
You're right. Wait, did he sell this business?
Yeah, he sold a previous business. And put the equity into.
So that's how he bootstrapped.
Oh yeah. This is money.
That's how he bootstrapped.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So then you figured out, okay, I'm playing. So where are you then on that? In this,
I'm ready. I'm gonna sell my business.
That's the plan.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna sell it. Yeah.
You're saying it with such vim.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because I think, again, I'm not a monolith. I'm not one thing. I am multiple things. And even business wise, like there's so many different things in business that I want to do. I don't want to do this forever.
Okay.
I will always be in wellness, I believe. I just love the space. I just think there's probably going to be a shift. I'm probably not going to be in beauty. I'm probably going to be more in wellness.
Okay.
Next business.
Okay.
If I even do a product-based business again, because it's a lot as well.
Yeah.
You get more wealth with service-based businesses, as in like retained. Retained like wealth. Like even though they might not make millions and millions and millions, but like what you're taking home is a lot more.
You think so?
Absolutely.
What makes you say that?
Your overheads for a service-based business can be 90, can be nothing.
Could be zero, basically.
We have to think about margins and this and that and operations and shipping and your profit is everything.
Yeah.
You basically have profit for days. Headcount at best. Sometimes your profit is 80%. We start at 8%. Our highest margins can be 80, 90%.
Yeah.
Your lowest can be 90% at times. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's just like, I'm ready to sell it. Not now. There's ways to go. But yeah, no, it's my destiny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though you've built an 8-figure business, e-commerce business, do you call it e-commerce?
Yeah, it's e-com brand. Yeah.
E-com beauty brand. What are the 3 things that you would have done differently?
I would have really hoped I would have known about selling your business before and then set up the business for that. And I don't mean set up in any way. I mean, generally like business decisions. I would have made decisions that would have put me in more favorable position for a raise to sell. I probably would have raised earlier. And then I would have had some less stress, not all less stress, some less stress. I think I would have hired people I didn't know and like straight out the gate believed in myself to hire at the beginning people that was like extremely better at what they do, but also still had the same ethos around PlantMade. And I'm only saying this because what I heard, I remember hearing, like hire the people around you, and that's literally what I did. And people like my friends have learned. My friends and the people around us really learned quick. But when you don't learn, you just go. So it's like there are certain roles for certain things. So like some roles, no, this is a teachable role. This is someone that grows into it. Like they might not have any experience, but like something's teachable. And then there's roles where like you have to come in and go, like, you know, they say A players or whatever. And I don't think A player is because someone comes in and goes. I think there's a multitude of characteristics that come in with an A player. But I didn't even know that was an option again. I didn't even know you could hire someone like extremely better at you. You're balancing budgets, mate. Like, and we have a physical business. We have operations, like we have production staff. Like there's money going elsewhere, you know? It's not just landed cost of product and then building the brand. Like we make the products and ship the products and, you know? So it's just like, I don't blame myself. I actually don't blame myself. Some days I do. Today I don't.
Okay.
I don't blame myself in retrospect of the decision I made because I didn't know any better. I think the last thing would just be like, you don't have to know everything to be successful. There was times where I really doubted my ability to run the company because I didn't know enough, you know, constantly learning and So there was times where I relied prematurely on outsourcing agencies or mentorship when I shouldn't have, because ultimately it just cost the business more. The reverse is also like there was some agencies, there was some mentorship that was amazing for us and almost at the expense of the people that we had invested in before was too late. So just because you're new doesn't mean you don't know. Like you're running off of instinct. And I didn't realize how powerful my instinct was. And it was all driven by customer obsession. I was just obsessed with the customer. I just knew and felt what they needed and wanted.
Yeah.
And that has always gotten us into a great place. And 3.1 would be, so You get advice or do this. Every time we went against PlantMade, like rock star roles, like the things that always made us money, things that always made us successful. Every time we veered away, the business almost tanked.
Wow.
There was times where it was like, oh, this is what you do at this stage of the business, and this is what you do at this stage of the business. Those were the things that almost took us out. And I'm like, whoa.
That's crazy.
I can't believe it. So, business isn't linear. Things are different for everyone. Yeah, they are. So don't take the advice so literally. Take it with a pinch of salt. Because if you do it, you might ruin your business.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Thank you so much. I love those tips. A few final questions from me. What good habits have you adopted that's helped you, enabled you to, build PlantMade, and what bad habits have you had to get rid of?
Bad habits. I took so many meetings.
Okay.
I took so many meetings. Like there's still loads of pictures in my inbox. So many pictures. Oh my God. And there was times I'd have hours and hours on the day just in meetings in the morning and this and that. Morning meetings as well. No, flog that off. I'm fresh in the morning. So like if you mess with me there, I'm done. Like I need like 30, 40 minutes to even get productive after a meeting. But yeah, I just was like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. No, we don't need it. No. Why am I talking to you? I'm so like, you can say like I'm potentially cold, but like you need to be at times. Like you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll give you a chance because you said you have this thing. Sometimes you just be like, sorry, this is not the time for that. And that's opportunities as well. That's not bad or good. It's a bad or good habit. It just is what it is. Like stuff coming in now, right? Sorry, it's just not the season for that. We can talk about this in the new year, but right now I'm focused. It just is what it is. Good habits. I can sense things like some trends, and I don't mean like trends as in fleeting trends. We started to do TikTok Shop, specifically TikTok Live, because we've been on TikTok Shop for a year, but we started to do TikTok Lives, and I just hopped on it. I have this thing. No one is ever above anything, including a founder or a CEO. If you need to get stuck in, you need to get stuck in. I was like, this channel is not working for us. I don't know what's happening. Let me figure it out. Let me see. Did one day, okay, another day, cool. Like that was like we made it into an actual channel now, an actual revenue generating channel. We're spending £0, 0 pence on advertising. We are just posting content and we're just doing lives and talking, doing live shopping. That's it. And it's become a channel for us now.
Wow.
I think that's one of my greatest strengths. See an opportunity and dive in, but it's not a opportunity at the expense of the business. It's at the benefit.
Okay. Love that. My final question to you is, anybody watching and listening to this that wants to start their own e-commerce brand, and they want to take action today, what would your advice be to them?
The advice is it's never been a greater time to start a business or a brand online. Don't be fooled by the competition. There's so much wealth to go around. I think it's a great opportunity to be different and to focus on the differences that you can have in the market. If you can't communicate those differences properly, you need to figure that out before you even start your business. You can't figure that out after. Have a great product, of course, and make sure that you're showing yourself online. You have to market. You can't not. So make sure you're taking advantage of the arbitrage that we have with content creation at the moment, with the free channels, just posting and making money for nothing. Be sure to take advantage, because I know one day it's going to go. And that's another thing about business. You think things are going to ride out for ages until they don't. And that's what happened with a lot of businesses from 2021 to 2023 with Meta ads, Facebook and Instagram, how it was so effective. There were billion-dollar brands at times built off of those platforms, because put £1 in, got 4 out, 5 out, sometimes 10 out, 12 out. Like that's what it was back in the day. It was insane.
It's crazy.
But over time, as the businesses got a little bit more greedy, we're building multi-million-pound brands and dollar brands on this platform. We need to eat more, so let's make it work less. Let's make it work less. Let's work less. Now you're lucky to get £1 in, £3 out. Sometimes it's just £1 in, £2 out.
That's crazy. Wow.
So know that if anything is successful now, it will go. So double down on it now and spend 20% of your time looking at the next opportunity. And that's why I'm on TikTok Shop.
Okay.
Because I'm like, this is a now thing. So this is a future thing. But the funniest thing is the fast movers have already made $1 million in one day off of the platform.
That's crazy. So TikTok's the next big thing.
Yeah.
Wow. I've been hearing a lot about TikTok Shop. That's
only a year
crazy. How
old.
much of your revenue mix would you say?
It's not a massive amount.
It's not massive,
I can't
but
lie.
that's where you're trying to grow
But yeah.
Okay.
If we do well, if we focus,
It
could be a 6-figure channel.
Wow. That's mad. I lied. I've got one more question. What's the vision now for PlantMade? Like in terms of like revenue, where are you trying to get it to? You've made 11 million. Where do you want it to be?
We want to be 100 million.
Okay.
I want it.
Okay.
And not because I'm greedy. I've been asked this question. I've actually thought about it. Why not?
Why not?
Generally, it's like this kind of business, the impact, this category has not necessarily been able to transcend into those multi-millions like that. And I just think to have that much impact on the world.
Yeah.
And again, that's even you've only just crossed over not being a small business anymore once you reach 100 million, which is crazy.
That's wild. That's very wild.
And that's what I'm like, you guys really don't know what business is like because under 100 million, you're still a small business.
That's a madness. We wish you luck, and I know you'll get there. You've got the grit, you got the determination from your story. No, it's been an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing it and just being transparent. I really appreciate that about you, that you're transparent in your story. I think it really helps people to understand what they have to kind of go through. And not only that, but I think it also inspires people to be like, okay, cool. Somebody else is going through what I'm going through. I'm going to kind of like work through it. I think that's important. And I think you should celebrate more. You should celebrate more. What you've done is absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? Even saying like 10 million plus is it's crazy. 4 years is a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think you should be very proud of what you've done. This is an amazing achievement. Much more to you. Do you have any where can people find you actually before we ask for final words?
TikTok, Ama Amo-Agyei. That's AMOAGYEI. On Instagram, Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter these days anymore. I scroll, but I'm not really like pouring into that channel. It's AMAA__official. I spend a lot of my time on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
I'm really enjoying TikTok as a personal medium. It's been great. And yeah, that's where they can find me in business. www.weareplantmade.com. Shop amazing grow and glow products, handmade, plant-made. Same channel on Instagram and TikTok as well. We are PlantMade at We Are PlantMade. So
thank you so much, Emma. Really appreciate you featuring on the podcast. Thank you so much. Do you have any final words for watchers and listeners?
Final words are, you're gonna smash it, and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you so much, Emma. I love that. That's how we end it. We end it with a bang. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the podcast, and see you next week's episode.